source of calm and positivity. Good morning. Let's take this time to go forward, to breathe, to reset, to re-engage. If that was useful and helpful to you, give me a one in the chat. I'd love to know. And happy Friday to you. The irony of starting this with saying, explaining to you that music is not always medicine. I recognize that it's Friday and I wanted us to feel a little bit good. But when you get a text about, a client that could make or break your business, or if you're about to hit send on a proposal that you've been agonizing over for weeks, any of these things that make your nervous system just feel like it's firing on all ends, sometimes we have different reactions. We might say, okay, let me reach for this phone, pop in my earbuds, and play my favorite playlist because it works magic. And you just need to stop right there because what if I told you that hitting play is probably sometimes the worst thing that you could do right now? Now, I've had you tune in assuming that you're already regulated. But if in the event that you are not regulated, meaning your nervous system is a little bit out of whack, then turning on music could actually send you into a deeper spiral. Did you know that? Did you know that? Yes or no? Okay, hopefully I can just drop a few gems on you right now, and so we can think about different ways to regulate our system. Now, I'm going to also preface this by saying mindset is very good for you. Mindfulness is very good for you. The affirmations that we did are very good for you. However, and I do apologize that the you couldn't hear most of it, but that's all right. I'll give you an opportunity to get it if you go to andreaferguson.com. I can give you all of these affirmations. I can give you regulation mantras. There is a difference, but you got to go to andreaferguson.com. I'm going to put that up right now. So it's just my first and last name, but you go to andreaferguson.com and you'll get a bunch of affirmations and also stay up to date. You will also be redirected to cryptoalliance.com where the resources are there. I have to give you that because I need you to understand that finances especially are very, very stressful, and I just need you to have some tools to be able to work through things. Like I said, innocently turning on music could actually send your already dysregulated nervous system into a spiral. So, we're going to shatter uh, one of the most pervasive myths about stress management and panic response, and explore a little bit about why music, that universal language that we all know and love so much, can actually be not so helpful. And I want you to learn how to regulate yourself in only 90 seconds. Right. So that's the whole thing, is to get you back online where your thinking brain is going to help you, especially when there's money on the line. All right, so to just get a feel of the room, maybe you're listening, you're not at your computer or your phone right now, and that's totally fine. But type in music into the chat if you ever listen to music when you get stressed. Type in music, please. Type in music. Get a look on my other screens here to see if we're coming in loud and clear. Appreciate you being here this Friday. Thank you for sharing as well. If you have shared, that is a beautiful thing. I appreciate you. Okay, it looks like we have some comments coming through. So just going to check these out here. Good evening, good morning, happy Friday. Hello, David. Hello, Akil. All right. So, as I was saying, so your nervous system has two primary operating modes. Two primary operating modes, and you've probably heard of it. If you've ever heard of fight or flight, give me a one if you've heard of fight or flight. That's the sympathetic. Um, and it's called sympathetic nervous system because you have emotion there. So the sympathetic, fight or flight, and the parasympathetic. I'm just going to adjust myself here. One moment. And the parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. So when you're calm and collected, your prefrontal cortex, your brain, thinking brain, is running the show. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And now, this is the part of your brain that's responsible for all of your executive function, that's all of your decision making, it's all of your rational thought. But the moment that your brain perceives a threat, whether it is a charging tiger, whether it's your investment portfolio plummeting in real time, something really fascinating but also kind of terrifying happens. And that's when your amygdala, and I've been talking about this all week. Unfortunately, you're not going to keep me from saying it because I really want you to understand that sometimes there are things that are out of your control. And when you feel threatened, like I said, when you feel like there's a tiger after you, your amygdala, your prefrontal cortex, your this part of the brain, that ancient alarm system buried deep in your brain, hijacks your entire nervous system. Blood redirects away from the prefrontal cortex and floods your limbic system and your brain system. So your thinking brain goes offline. And it is type in thinking brain if that's ever happened to you. Type in thinking brain. It's the difference between seeing lunch and surviving another day in the past that it was. Yeah. So that's where our threats come from. This brain system, this ancient system that used to be able to work for us in quite a sophisticated, still sophisticated, but in quite an effective way. I mean, you think about it, we are no longer experiencing that kind of physical threat. We're experiencing psychological threats these days, but our brain works all the same. And you're purely operating on instinct and emotion, you are not going to make strategic business decisions. You're just trying to survive. And so that's why I want you to understand that music can actually become your enemy when you're in panic mode. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, like I said, you're going to look for those calming tracks, but your brain already has all the tabs of your mind open. It's overheated. The program, everything is already running really, really slow. And music is a very effective tool for auditory stimulation. It's very complex and it requires an insane amount of neural processing power. And the only reason why I even feel comfortable using this terminology these days is because I know you are all familiar with ChatGPT and Claude AI, and you're starting to understand how large language models work and how neural system work. Neural just means brain. Okay, so your brain is trying to decode these rhythms, the melodies, harmonies, and even the lyrics. So even relaxing music demands attention away from your already jacked up tax cognitive resources. And it kind of gets a little bit worse even because music is deeply tied to memory and emotion. And if you know that, type in emotion. You know it when you hear a song and it takes you back, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad, sometimes to a breakup or a certain person that reminds you of that breakup, might remind you of cooking in the kitchen with your nona, or take you back to playing ball with your Theo, and whatever the case may be. Neuroscientists call this the reminiscent bump. Okay, so music is deeply tied to memory and emotion, and every song carries associations, it carries memories, it carries these emotional triggers that you might not even be consciously aware of. And when you're already emotionally not regulated, music is going to act like an emotional accelerant, intensifying whatever you're feeling rather than calming it. So that's why if you're already in an agitated or stressed state, it's even a so-called calming track can really make you more anxious, and that's not your imagination if that's been the case, that you've ever just tried to turn on music. And um, something else that I think is really important is you are trying to use the time that you've got, which is 90 seconds, to calm yourself down. At least that's how long it takes for a chemical cascade of an emotional response to flood your system and flush it out completely. So that's only if we don't keep re-triggering it. All right, so I'm going to take a calm pause. I'm going to take a calm pause and reset here for one moment and just check and make sure that we are all together. Make sure you're all with me. Okay, so the fastest way to do what we call bottom up regulation, that's the fastest shift you're going to take, because you didn't have time to go through all of the yoga and the dance and all of these things. I mean, hopefully you can use your body to get out of whatever funk you might be in. But usually when you're hyper regulated, right? So this is panic, this is anxiety, you're getting ready to do something big, you're going to want to shift through the bottom up regulation, not the top down, because you cannot think your way out of panic. You cannot think your way out of panic. Okay. Give me a yes if you understand. I cannot think my way out of panic. That's the biggest takeaway that I want you to walk away with from this whole thing is, okay, can't think my way out of panic, and music isn't always the best answer. So, what is the answer? You need to be keenly aware of what state you're in and how you operate. Okay. And one of the most powerful tools that you can use is your breath. It is one of the most powerful tools that you can use, especially when you're extending your exhale. So when you lengthen out your breath, you're directly stimulating your vagus nerve. And that sends an immediate signal to your brain: I am safe. So, everybody, I just want you to touch yourself right now, touch your heart, and say, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. I am okay. I am here. I am present. And now I want you to hum with me for just 30 seconds. Okay, so we're going to hum and stimulate our vagus nerve. This is pretty cool. It's not woo woo, it is actually hardcore science. All right, so we're going to hum. I just need to look at my uh, clock here, make sure we're humming for 30 seconds. All right, 1 second. And a hard when you have your computer in your hand. Okay, ready? And let's go. Oh, it's hard to do in one breath. Keep going. 8 seconds. Mm. Okay. So I know it seems kind of crazy, but if you can remember to do that, to hum, really stimulate your vagus nerve, you can actually calm down a lot quicker than putting on music. Okay, so another thing that you can do, and just type in hum if that helped. Type in hum, hum. Gonna wait till I see hum. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when you consistently rely on music to manage your emotional states. Um, you may think you're being responsible, but if you are facing some situations, you are actually, and you're just turning on the music, what you're inadvertently training your nervous system to do, even if it does calm you down, is become dependent on external stimulation for regulation. And the reason that's important is because what's going to happen if you are in a car and you are trying to regulate yourself, but you don't have music or you don't have control of the music, or you're in a very stressful or scary situation where maybe, or you're about to walk into a very, very tense situation with someone else, and you walk in and you don't have music. Okay, you have trained your nervous system to become dependent on that external regulation. So that is co-regulation dependency. Now, I understand that we might need music to amp us up if we're getting ready to go on a call or we're getting ready to do a live, especially if there's like selling or something involved like that. But the thing is, that you have to learn to have the ability to self-regulate without external aids, or over time, you're going to make your nervous system overreactive, not less. And you lose the confidence in your ability to manage stress on your own without this emotional support soundtrack. If that makes sense to you, type in it makes sense. It makes sense, right? I don't think we think of it as often as we maybe should, but you have every tool inside of you to be able to deal with the day-to-day stress. You have every tool inside of you to support yourself. You possess great potential, and you only need to unlock it by being completely and totally aware of what is happening to you. It doesn't mean everything is going to be perfect in your world. It doesn't mean that your problems turn around overnight all the time. It doesn't mean that you snap your fingers and things go uh, imaginally perfect without a hiccup. No, this life, this world is not without troubles. It's not without stress. It's not without a little bit of chaos. It's not without a little bit of drama. But the difference is that you can bring everything that you need to reset yourself in 90 seconds from the inside. It's internal tools that we need to master. It's internal tools that we need to learn to be able to regulate us. That is really going to make the difference between you being stuck and you going forward, between you succeeding and between just not moving. So it's inevitable that you fail. The only reason that people fail is because they stop trying. So the only reason that you would be stuck and overwhelmed is if you refuse to use any of the number of tools inside of you. I've taught you how to calm yourself with humming. I have taught you that music is actually a dependency. It's kind of almost like a drug, mind altering state of consciousness that you go into. Now, it can be good if you are trying to get energy. I'm just going to pause right now and I'm going to say energy, energy, right? So when you need energy because you are hypo aroused, maybe you're frozen, maybe you're in shutdown or something like that. You're not in panic, you're not in anxiety, you're not in that kind of stress, but you are hypo aroused. Then music is a good way to energize you, to boost you up, to give to but it's functioning as a stimulus, not as a dependency, okay? So for entrepreneurs, for freelancers, for business owners, you just don't want to get so dependent on music that is going to cost you your ability to make clear decisions, strategic decisions under pressure. Okay. So that's literally your competitive advantage is that you're able to make these decisions under pressure. If you remember, if you're relying on external tools, that might not always be available or worse, that are actually impairing your ability to decide, you put yourself at a significant disadvantage. But everyone here is already learning the tools to be successful. Okay, so type in advantage if you have learned some of those tools. Okay, all right, just gonna check on the time before I lose track of it. Also, I realized I've just been really close to my my chest here, so I'm gonna back up. All right. If this is helpful, type in helpful. All right, so we're going to do the box breathing because that is something that I love. It's a super easy go-to. It's super easy to remember. Four, 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 four. So 4 breaths in, hold it for 4. 4 breaths out, hold it for 4. And just keep repeating like that in a box for 4 times. So 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay. We are going to do that together. And I just want you to actually, before we start, notice where you are right now. Are you sitting? Are you standing? What is your body doing? Just notice. Just notice. What are you doing? I have my shoulders tense right now. So I'm trying to balance my computer on my body, and it's making me a little bit anxious. So this is perfect for me to do a little bitty box breath with you. Type in box breath. All right. I know we're on the same page now. So you're going to do it together. Super easy. 4 breaths in. Ready? Go. Hold 4. Exhale 4. Hold 4. Breathe in. Hold 4. Exhale 4. Hold 4. Inhale 4. Hold 4. Exhale 4. Hold 4. 4. I'm sorry. Inhale. Hold 4. Exhale 4. Hold 4. All right, perfect. Now, how does your body feel now compared to 30 seconds ago? This is the beauty of nervous system regulation. The beauty is that, okay, maybe nothing dramatic happened, and that's fine too, but you did give your nervous system a direct signal that you are safe. You didn't think your way out, you didn't analyze your way there, you used your body to shift your state, and it took less than 90 seconds, and that is the power, the real power. That is what I mean about working with your nervous system instead of against it. You just experienced bottom up regulation, changing your physiology to match to change your mental state. Now, imagine you have this tool available the next time you're about to send a scary email or I don't know, hop on a call with a difficult client. If you are about to make a trade, remember, this is all stemming from I've always been into mindfulness. I've always loved meditation. I've always believed in having good ways to do mindfulness based stress reduction. However, money, finances, health have extremely, incredibly effective ways to rattle our nervous system such that you feel like a gun was pulled on you if you look at a chart crashing or you get this email that is just crazy or maybe something has completely gone offline or there's a lot of things out of your control. I want you to use these tools to reset yourself if you're in panic or you're in anxiety, and just know that you can reset yourself in less than 90 seconds. And there's one more quick thing I want you to try before we leave here, and that is to ground yourself. So we talked about this before. So I'm going to plant my feet on the ground. Yes. I'm going to take my hands and press into my thighs. So I feel my body, and it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. You can type grounding if you have heard of that before. Type in grounding. And what we're going to do is we're going to name 5 things we can see. Why seeing? Because your sight is very, very powerful. Then next, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And I do these grounding exercises actually in the morning when I'm journaling. I will actually write these things the first thing I wake up because I want to get my body present. I want to prepare my nervous system to be able to cognitively function online. Okay, so I'm going to give you time to do that. What are 5 things you can see? I see the door handle. I see my computer. I see you in the chat. I see the bright light. I see the wall behind me. I see the floor. I see Titus. I'm going to. Now, what are 4 things that you can hear? I hear my breath. Maybe you can hear your heartbeat if you listen closely. I hear static. I hear the cars. How about, and I just switched, I apologize. How about what you can feel? Can you feel your heartbeat? Can you feel your breath? Can you feel your pulse? How about what you can smell? Just a couple of things. Sometimes people smell nothing, that's okay, move on to the next sense. It's really about anchoring and grounding yourself to get fully into this present moment. No app required, no playlist, and you can do it in 90 seconds. So these aren't just concepts, they work in real time in real situations and give you real results. Okay, now that you have actually experienced that, let's just say, that's, I'm here, I'm here. I'm here. And if you're really, really going through it, you can actually say what they say in the military, find your feet. Find your feet. Why do they say that? Have you ever heard find your feet? Type in find your feet. Find your feet means to feel the physical sensation. Feel that sensation. Find your feet. Okay? If something goes wrong, do that. Bring your body back. Come back. Okay. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up. I think we are overtime, in fact. But if you go to andreaferguson.com, I will get you those regulation mantras and affirmations. I'm so proud of you for being a person who is willing to commit to mastering their nervous system. And you are going to be less exhausted in the process of becoming more successful because you are doing conscious programming. So these are immediate regulation techniques. They're crucial. They are going to be lasting change that reprograms you, your unconscious patterns. And this is one step. But to really solidify that, you need those mantras and those affirmations because now you're going to be going top bottom. That is where you're going to rewire yourself deliberately with neural pathway training. That is where, when your brain is constantly running these background programs and you're having these automatic thoughts and these beliefs that shape your reality, you're going to install them and then they will kick in during the times of stress and trauma. Okay. Well, if you have that right combination, right? So you've got to remember to tactically get back, understand when your thinking brain is offline. I've done this so many times this week and it has brought me back and I have been better for it. You just need to remember to not overly commit, overly be regulated on music and external things, but that you have all of the tools inside of you. All of the tools to interrupt those old neural pathways, all of the tools to reset you in just 90 seconds. And I'm so grateful, like I said, that you are with me. I'm going to actually play what we started in the beginning, which is around here somewhere. Give me just a moment and we can re-engage, okay? So if that sounds good to you, type in good. All right. One second. All right, here we go. All right, let's take this positive energy forward as we explore more ways to nurture and strengthen our body and mind. Thank you once again for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.